Okay, I have 10:03, so we're going to get started. I want to welcome everyone. If you need closed captioning, please know that it is available. You can use the button at the bottom of your screen. And I'm just going to put that in the chat right now. Please let us know if you have any difficulty doing that. For those of you that don't know, my name is Adam Pearl. I am president and CEO of ArtPride New Jersey. My preferred pronouns are he, him. I am a white male in my early 40s. I have short brown hair, wearing a burgundy shirt this morning, and I'm sitting in front of a beigeish wall. We're going to jump right into the arts advocacy update so that you can get the information you came for this morning. But I did want to let folks know, if you haven't been to one of our webinars before, or it's been a while, we do use the chat feature quite a bit. We'll drop links in the chat feature, so keep an eye on that. We also love the questions and answer feature, so please use the question and answer feature, and I'll monitor that throughout the webinar. And I'll pop in and pose your questions to the different team members that are going to be joining us this morning. But please know, as always, we are recording the webinar. We will post this usually later today onto our site, onto our YouTube site. And so if you missed something, or you want to share this with a colleague, or if you want to recommend someone to take a peek at the webinar, know that it will be available, and you can expect that as soon as our team can get it off the ground. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Anne-Marie Miller, ArtPride's Director of Public Policy and Advocacy. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Doing
Happy
great.
Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's been a little while since we've done this, so let's see. Anne-Marie Miller, which Adam just said. My pronouns are she, her. I am a white, older cisgender female wearing a blue shirt, short grayish hair, and glasses. I'm in my home office with various framed art behind me, and I am in the mythical, undefined central New Jersey, which is home to our ancestral Lenni Lenape ancestors. So next slide, Vince, and we'll get started. So what's new? It's been a while since we've done one of these advocacy updates, and this is just to let you know what's going on. S2800 A4233 is that $70 million bill that is proposing American Rescue Plan funds for arts and culture to offset lost revenue due to the pandemic. It was heard in the Senate Economic Growth Committee it was last week, I guess, right? Yeah, last week. I'm losing track of the days here, sorry. It currently has 12 Senate sponsors and 16 Assembly sponsors. It passed through the committee with all yay votes. And we were lucky to have some really good testimony from the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. Jim Houghton, their Chief Financial Officer, and Carmen Corrales, one of their board members, spoke. Their pictures on the right there. And then Adam spoke about the tourism aspect and the arts and how they're linked together economically. And then I spoke about need and the fact that the situation for nonprofit arts is still in some dire straits because of the unreliability of income due to attendance and tickets. Kevin O'Brien spoke on behalf of IATSE Union. He talked about jobs in the entertainment and arts and culture field, and how it's all dependent upon the health of the nonprofit and for-profit venues. So the testimony was good. There were no questions. And we're working on trying to make sure that it's heard in the Assembly, Tourism, Arts, and Gaming Committee, and then probably on to the Appropriations Committees after that. So the sooner we can move this, the hopefully better aspect or future for this bill. So next slide, please. If you've not yet asked your legislators to sponsor this bill in the Senate or in the Assembly, please go to our Arts Action page and take action. You will find a list, some links there to find out if your legislator is a current sponsor. So you will know not to not ask them to do it, but to thank them for being a co-sponsor. And then if your legislators are not, there's still plenty of room for them to go ahead and co-sponsor this. Sometimes takes much more than just an email these days. So there is information on our website to link to their phone numbers where you can make phone calls basically after you've sent your email to follow up, because the follow-up is really important in this day and age where emails are abundant and can sometimes get lost along with and there are other issues that they're dealing with. So the best follow-up and the best method for gaining advocacy assistance from your legislators is just really establishing a relationship with them where you can call them and you can talk to their aides and just reiterate your support for this. Next slide, please. So coming up on Tuesday is the budget address that the governor will give. At that point, we'll know what the funding is for the State Arts Council, Historical Commission, the Division of Travel and Tourism, and the Cultural Trust. We are hoping that all of our funding levels are exactly the same as last year, if not more, but we won't know until Tuesday. You can tune in to the budget address and watch it live at 2 p.m. There's a link there for that. And soon after, we'll have some information and we'll make sure that, we send an alert out to the field for folks to know what's going on and how they can act or thank their legislators. Next slide, please. So here's a bunch of Arts Council stuff going on, just making sure that you, in light of the fact that I just said emails sometimes get lost, and I know we've been getting lots of them, just so that you're aware of what's coming up. At the same time, the date of the budget address, but earlier in the morning, there's a public meeting of the State Arts Council. So I believe the agenda should be there the day of, and there's a link to join there. Next slide. So just a reminder about the grant opportunities that are available now through the State Arts Council that are different and new based upon resources, and the Capital Arts Grant for Historic Locations. Technical assistance is available through March. They do have office hours so that you can meet with staff and ask questions. There is the guideline link for the Capital Arts Grants is at the bottom, and I think Adam just put a link in the chat as well. So this is specifically for New Jersey's nonprofit arts organizations that are operating in locations with historic designations, and has to do with construction, repair, or expansion of existing facilities and equipment purchase and installation. Next slide. The other grant is a special initiative grant. There's also a link at the bottom there, and Adam's just put that in there for guidelines for the special initiative grants. These are, the grant period is June 1st, 2023 and ends December 31st, 2023. So it's specific to issues that are not part of the organization's regular planned or ongoing work. So it's special things that have popped up that you can apply for funding for, and it is not eligibility, it's eligibility. To be eligible, an applicant must be a current GOS or GPS grantee of the Arts Council. All right, next slide, please. So, oh, this did work. Okay, so creating change is coming up, and we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that there's a roundtable happening on March 14th at 10 o'clock on maintaining hope in the work of social justice. Also to save the date about the convening that's coming up. It's a statewide convening, creating change on May 10th from 9 to 5 at the Vogel at the Basie Center for the Arts. So put that on your calendars. Last year's was excellent over at Two River Theater, and this year will be at the Vogel with, I believe, lots of breakout rooms being worked out so that people can focus on different topics. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over to Vince.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vince Hall. I'm Advocacy and Community Engagement Manager for ArtPride. I'm a young Black male with dark hair, a beard, and a check shirt in front of a white wall. So save the date, April 26th, Arts Advocacy Day. We're going to be heading down in person to Washington, D.C. This is an opportunity for staff to accompany a delegation of folks to go down to represent the state through FaceTime with elected officials to garner support for arts in the state. Issues will include preserving and increasing federal funds for arts cultural agencies, arts education, and tax and visa related legislation. So I'll be scheduling congressional meetings throughout that day, and we'll be separating into groups based on congressional districts. So let me know if you're interested. There is a sign-up form on our page, artpride.org/NJAAD. So sign up there and then let us know if you're interested, and we will continue to put out more information on that page. So continue to look up there if you need to find more information on what's going on.
Okay, just so everybody remembers, in the past, Americans for the Arts did this on a special day or days, which they called National Arts Advocacy Day. Then it became the National Arts Action Summit. They have, based on, I guess, input from the field, decided that this is not something that should be done just on one day. It's also cost prohibitive to bring like 500 plus more people in one hotel from all over the country. So they've opted to make this a year-long project, and the states can decide when it's best for them to do this. So we've selected April 26th to be New Jersey Day, and also what we'll be doing in advance of the 26th, there will be a webinar with Americans for the Arts staff to focus on the issues for you to ask and hear answers to all the questions that you might have, and also to talk a little bit about the logistics of how, where people will be in Washington, how to get there, where the different buildings are, and answer like tons of questions that usually happen. So just have that information as well. Next slide. So let's see. Okay, so in light of that, it is just to let you know that this just happened a couple of weeks ago. Senator Booker and Representative actually, Nydia Velasquez from New York announced two pieces of legislation. One is making March Music in Our Schools Month. It's a resolution. And that would support music in schools by affirming the importance of music education. And then the second bill is called the Guarantee Access to Arts and Music Education Act of 2023, GAAME Act. Now, what this does is amends the Elementary Secondary Education Act to allow Title I schools to use the funds to bolster arts and music education, hire teachers, provide more access, and acquire whatever equipment is needed to make that happen. So this is one of the issues we'll be talking about when folks go to Washington, and this is brand new. And so they will have an action alert eventually to support this as it moves forward. Next slide, please. Okay, so more about federal stuff. Actually, some arts groups in New Jersey have been successful getting some congressional earmarks in the last federal budget bill that was passed in December. And so, and that's great because it actually means that, you know, folks are engaging with their congressional representatives and developing those relationships and making known what the needs are. So this is an opportunity. It's coming up March 2nd, so that's next week. Americans for the Arts has a webinar on how to secure congressional earmarks. So they'll have Americans for the Arts staff, and then I see a former chief of staff to Betty McCollum from Minnesota, and where they will talk about how to do this, because basically arts proposals tend to land in two areas, either the education bill or housing and urban development. And you need, or transportation. Transportation is another option, but you have to fit into certain categories to request the funds. And the fact that you request the funds through your legislator doesn't automatically mean it's going to happen. But it is really a good step in making them aware of what the needs are. And again, some New Jersey groups have been successful this past budget cycle. So that's coming up, and I think, you know, it's a good opportunity. Next slide. So here's something new, and that you should all know about, that the New Jersey Economic Development Authority is looking for a senior advisor for arts and culture. The link is up there, and there would be nothing better than to have someone who knows about the arts really get this job, and could be somebody on this webinar. So the job summary is there. And this is in light of the fact that they have been working much more closely with the State Arts Council, and the fact that they're recognizing the arts as part of economic development, and the fact that there will be opportunities in the future to receive funding through EDA, and to be guided by a senior advisor in arts and culture at the EDA is a really remarkable step. So if anybody's interested, that's a decent salary. And you know, go for it, and let us know if you get the job. Next slide, please. Okay, simultaneously, you know, there are other arts issues going on. Wanted to make sure that you all knew that NJIVA, the New Jersey Independent Venue Association, has a survey out right now. I think it closes on Monday, so if you have not taken part and answered the survey, this is a good opportunity to do it today or over the weekend, and asking about how does the New Jersey liquor license law affect your venue. You probably heard, because of Governor Murphy's State of the State address, that you know, he's looking at changing the law, updating the law, but there are a lot of elements to this, including the fact that there are several bills that there are a few bills that have passed and several bills under consideration with regard to arts and entertainment venues. And so Sarah Scully over at NJIVA is taken the lead on this to ask, you know, what percentage of your venue's budget depends upon, you know, concessions, and how would the liquor license law affect your venue? Yeah, we'll put the survey link in the chat. Okay, next slide, please. This is to make you aware of the continuing project that's ongoing right now, Arts Economic Prosperity 6. We have 12 local partners throughout New Jersey, some of whom I saw are participants today in the webinar. They are in the process of surveying audience members to find out more about demographics and the related expenses to attending a cultural event. I am urging you, if someone asks you to take a survey, please do that. This is really important. Arts and Economic Prosperity 5 was really, really helpful to the state of New Jersey in helping double the funding, almost double the funding. Our legislators were respectful of the information that came out of that study, and we will have, based upon what we're hearing right now in terms of current legislators who are no longer running, we're going to have a whole new legislature coming up in November, and we're going to need to re-educate everybody about the economic value of the arts. The one other thing related to this is you may have gotten an email either from ArtPride or from your local partner saying that next week you'll be getting an online survey. And we urge you to please take that survey. It basically asks some very bare bones questions about your expenses, your revenue, and arts and the participation audiences to your organization. This information is really critical to accompany the patron related spending to have a full picture of what the arts mean in terms of the economy in New Jersey. So Adam's there.
Yeah, there's just one question from Angela was asking if we could add the survey link in the chat. So just to clarify, the AAP6 survey you would actually complete at the next event that you go to, where they're collecting the information from individuals who are attending arts and cultural events. So there's not a link that they want folks filling this out while they're actually out and attending events.
Right, but I think she wanted the Najiba.
Oh, the liquor license survey. Well, that's a different story. We can find that and put that in the link. But it's good to clarify that as well. And I was just going to say, so 2 surveys, the ones you're filling out at the events, and as Anne-Marie said, the one that you'll receive email. But yeah, Angela, thanks for clarifying. We'll get that for you.
And if you don't answer the survey online, we will badger you to death to do that. So either your local partner or you'll be hearing from us, because we want to get as much input into this project as possible. There have been already over 3,000 surveys of audience members that have happened throughout the state, and they only have until May 31st to collect those surveys. So if you are there and can take a survey, please do that. At the same time, if you are in one of the locations where we have local partners, please help them collect these surveys. They need your help. So and you, if you have questions about that, email me at amiller@artpridenj.org, and I will connect you with your local partner if you don't know that that's happening. Next slide. Just to make you aware that NJPAC is producing a major arts festival. It's the 3 cities, Newark, Asbury Park, and Atlantic City, over 3 weekends in June, and they have a call for creators and producers. And the deadline for that is March 24th, njpac.org/CFC. And you know, this is another great opportunity. It's actually born out of the governor's interest in having a festival in New Jersey that celebrates the arts in 3 different locations. This is, you know, a rare opportunity to shine the light on what's going on around the state and to involve local folks. So please, you know, take advantage of that link and be part of this event as well. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to C. Stroud from our office to talk about Discover Jersey Arts.
Hi there. I'm the digital content manager here at ArtPride, so in charge of everything that's on the websites. And like Anne-Marie, I too am wearing a blue shirt and glasses and in my home office, but I am seated in front of a yellow wall and some nautical charts. I'm just going to speak about some alerts and opportunities in the web world. Next slide. Okay, so we're having a bit of a pixel crisis, and I think if we stand together, we can improve this. So for the last campaign, we had Black History Month. A number of the pieces of art that were submitted were only like 500-600 pixels wide, but that's like 5-6 inches on your screen, and look how big your screen is at home now, right? So in the bottom right of this slide, you'll see the pixel dimensions we're using for social media. They're like 1900 pixels wide. And above that, you can see, by the way, 1920 by 1080 is a 16:9 aspect ratio. So you can see in the slide above, this has become the standard ratio, and it's the minimum pixel dimension, minimum. So we can't have 500-600 pixels anymore. And NJPAC told me even the artists that perform there don't supply art to this dimension. So you can interpolate it. You can fabricate pixels in Photoshop to make enough pixel dimension, but it's not going to improve the clarity of the image. So that's what we call garbage in, garbage out. So we need to get the pixels from the beginning. They need to be captured. So I think it's up to us to start sending that request down the line. Tell the PR people, have the PR people tell their photographers, their graphic designers to capture the art, to generate the vector art to this pixel dimension. Next slide. Okay, so coverage on jerseyarts.com comes in two types. One is a story that we produce. We hire the writers, the podcasters, the videographers to go and cover to previews of arts events around the state. And the other is seasonal campaigns, which are really event listings of your productions. And the way to get to notify me of your interest in being covered for a story or included in the seasonal campaign is always available on the ArtPride website under the audience development tab. There's forms in there to just reach out to me or to send me, art, etc. So it's always there on the website. You, of course, can just email me directly at cstroud@artpridenj.org. If you do have interest in being covered in a story, it really is a 2-month lead time because, if you work back from curtain, we want to get the story circulating before curtain so that you can sell tickets. We need that story to circulate on social media. It doesn't, takes a few days to go around. Takes a few days before that to edit it. And before that, we have to, arrange a date and time to interview everybody. And I've got to find the right freelancer to cover it. So think ahead. 2 months. So once we have this content on jerseyarts.com, it's distributed in a number of ways. It's on the home page. The stories have a landing page. Actually, for that matter, the seasonal campaigns have a landing page. It goes out in the New and Now Weekly e-newsletter. It's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, both organic and paid. If it's a podcast, it's on Buzzsprout, and if it's a video, it's on YouTube. So the exposure multiplies, and it's really worth doing this. And coverage is available to people who are members of Jersey Arts Marketers. Next slide. Okay, so speaking of coverage, I'm interested in writing, probably going to have a freelancer write a story about the phenomena of Porch Fest. I can only do that about Porch Fest that are under the wings of arts organizations. So if you know you're starting one, if you're involved in one, if you've been involved in an annual one, please reach out to me and make me aware of it. I have 2 or 3 on the list, but if there are more, I would like to include them. Again, eligibility to be in that story, you'd have to be a member of JAM. Next slide. We have a website called Road Trip, which is has the most interest in the summer months, but it is up year round, and it includes arts organizations and events in 10 cities across New Jersey. And what we have in there are things to do, places to stay, places to eat. So where you fit in the most here is if you have evergreen, seasonal, annual, ethnic, or cross-discipline, for instance, cross-discipline meaning like you have a visual arts exhibit and a music event, or you have one-day itineraries that include your art organization, or there are mural and sculpture walking tours that include your organization. Please make me aware of them if I don't have them on Road Trip already, because we're trying to expand the information offered in Road Trip. Also, if you know of places to stay or places to eat that your patrons like to visit, let me know that too. And if you could think a bit outside of the box with those establishments, that would be great. For instance, we're starting to add more like Airbnb, private campgrounds, things like that. So patrons of all different financial abilities can enjoy the arts. Same with the eateries, food festivals. I would really like to know about breweries in your area. So whatever your patrons are enjoying, let me know. Adam probably can speak to Road Trip as well with his background. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, C.
Sure.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So we're wrapping up here. One thing I wanted to say was in terms of, C had mentioned a few times that you need to be a member of Jersey Arts Marketers in order to access some of those, those benefits and some of the promotional opportunities. But in order to be a Jersey Arts Marketer, you need to be part of that group. You need to either be a member of ArtPride, a member of the Theater Alliance, or a grantee of the State Council on the Arts. But here's the good news is if you or an organization you know are not currently members of ArtPride, we have a free introductory membership program. So we really encourage organizations that are based in New Jersey, that are involved in arts and culture, that aren't members, to join. That's a program that is remaining open that we started during the pandemic, and we really want to keep that open door available. For those of you that are existing members, I'll take this last opportunity just to remind folks that we did send out organizational membership dues renewals via email a few weeks ago, and we'll be reminding folks, thank you to the many organizations that have already submitted their dues for this fiscal year for 2023. This funding, the organizational membership dues, is extremely important to ArtPride. It's unrestricted funding, and that, along with individual donations, is what helps to cover all of that great advocacy and lobbying work that Anne-Marie and Vince were talking about earlier. So if you haven't had a chance, please click on that link, open that email, update your contact information, and submit your membership dues. We certainly appreciate it. I think there's one question here. It's for C from Phyllis. It says, would a bike tour around the city be included in road trip? Absolutely. So if it's, I can answer so C doesn't have to pop back on, but so absolutely, whatever we can include in road trip to make things very authentic and local in what I think now is 10 destinations, and will hopefully by next year be expanding up to 12 cultural destinations. I don't see any other questions. I want to thank Anne-Marie and C and Vince, who were with us this morning, as well as Megan and Tanisha and Jim, the rest of the ArtPride staff team, as well as our board and all of our volunteers. Everything that you see and hear about is the result of our collective hard work and getting you out of here in time. That's it for this morning. We will be in touch about our next webinar, and look forward to seeing you all there. You know where to find us if you need anything from the ArtPride team. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Stay well.